You know, Cece, as soon as I heard that, I thought immediately, what would someone who played the game think? Because you were on the other side of it. He is a safety. You played wide receiver. I'm just curious. What was your reaction to Mitchell's comments?
My reaction is not over from, it's not from being on an offensive player compared to a defensive player. First thing is, in defense of Mike Mitchell, playing safety in the NFL, in the new era of the new rules, post-concussion information, it's the hardest position to actually play. With the rules, how to judge if a wide receiver or running back is going to get down where the ball is, trying to make a hit on him, trying to stay within what they call the strike zone. It's very, very difficult. But 2 years ago, if they were playing flag football, he wouldn't have been making $50,000, so they wouldn't have been able to fine him $50,000 for the hit on Tyler Eifert that was Andy Dalton's fault. A lot of these things, yes, they are. Where the quarterback threw the ball, the wide receivers adjusting, tight ends adjusting to the ball. It's very, very difficult to play in the NFL. But everyone's adjusting. And the players that aren't adjusting, they're out of the league. So this is his choice. These are the rules now. All eras of sport have adjusted to different rules. It's not just the NFL. And for me, it's not just about the rules, because I believe the overall safety. Now, Mike, he's in his moment. Yeah. He's in the league. All right? I'm 16 years removed from the league. I've had several friends of mine, dear, dear friends of mine, who have taken their life. After they died, autopsy said, they had severe CTE. So for me, for a current player, not to look at what we've been through as a football community, he's a little naive to where he is right now. Like right now, where the league is, the amount of money they're paying the league, the overall labor piece of the league. Now, there might be some contrary reports that the league's not at an all-time high, but it is at an all-time high as far as players, the amount of money, the visibility, everything that is afforded to the modern-day NFL player. And I'm glad someone took it out of the players' hands to make the game safer, because you know something, Mike Mitchell? You deserve to play the same game that I played, and also kids after us. So if we don't change the rules, we can't leave it up to the players, because the players won't do what's best for ourselves overall. So I like the new rules that we have. They're very, very difficult to play safety in the NFL, but still, this is a great option for you to continue playing your football career.
Before I respond, I want to ask you a question about what he said at the very end, because I do think some members of the media, especially people that didn't play, very often misconstrue playing style with personal character. And he was angry that because he's been fined for some hits, people have talked as if he's a bad guy, where he talked about the money he donates to charities, the things he does in his community. Like, as a player, as not even just as a player, but as someone that watches the commentary on the league, how has that always felt with you when guys take how you play on the field?
I haven't heard that about Mike Mitchell. Okay, so I think that a lot of times for all the guys, I don't read anything, I don't watch anything, I don't hear anything. You know what I mean? That means they hear everything. Okay? Defensive players, especially secondary players, they have to be very, very aggressive. And I don't think that the general public takes this snapshot of what a guy does on the field and takes that to be that's the type of human being that he is.
Oh. Can I just ask one question? And I think we keep talking about it, but maybe we need one quick explainer. Can you just tell us what a little sort of overlay of what the new rules are, like what these new rules are in place to help players, protect their safety during the game?
You can't hit a player, even offense or defense, above the neckline. Like you can't hit him here. You can't hit him in his neck. You can't hit him anywhere above this. Now, as far as a defenseless player, that's the hardest call. Defenseless is if someone is going for the ball and they can't protect themselves. Wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, going against defensive backs, and typically safeties. So when the ball is in the air, when you get to the moment of truth, they have deemed that guy
Defenseless.
Defenseless.
Right. You got to aim below the head. And where it gets a little confusing is running backs, while they're running with the football, are the least protected guys in the league. Those guys, it's almost inevitable there's going to be helmet to helmet.
Well, they're not defenseless.
Right. Exactly. Well, you said at the beginning you can't hit any player above the neckline. But if you're running with the football, between the tackles, you're going to get hit like that. That's just an inevitable part of the game.
And you can't block a player above the neckline.
Correct. All right. So now I'm going to say something, CC, that I think you're going to think is ludicrous. But I'm going to ask you to stay with me.
It won't be my first or my last.
Okay. All right. So tell me if I have this right. The NFL has made it clear intent is not a part of this, right?
It's hard to judge intent.
But they've also made it clear, even if we believe you had no malice in your heart, so to speak, no ill will, it was the receiver ducked his head at the last minute, it was head-to-head, you can still be flagged and fined for that.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So we are saying even if a defensive player is trying to do the right thing, it can still be against the rules, it can still result in a flag, and it can still result in a fine. What Mike Mitchell alludes to with Andy Dalton there, I would take it a step further. If there is a play that results in a defensive player being fined, I am absolutely okay with, and I think it follows the same logical track of the NFL reviewing the tape and saying, does the quarterback have some culpability here? The quarterback wanted to throw a perfect ball. The quarterback didn't want to lead him into contact. His intent was fine, but he did. He didn't throw it where he wanted to. That was a part and parcel with the wide receiver being hit illegally, and he should be fined as well. Why should
hard to prove, Nick?
Well, no. Guys know all the time, was that an accurate throw or an inaccurate throw? You're not going to get it 1-to-1 every time. Why is that? Why is that not even considered?
That's impossible, Nick. This is not a video game. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like real live action.
Yeah.
What if someone flashed around his feet?
But
okay. No. What if someone flashes around his feet?
Yeah.
Okay, the left guard misses his block.
Yeah.
Someone crawls on his feet. He can't put enough on the throw. The ball tails a little bit, causes the tight end to drift to the safety.
Agreed.
So what should the punishment be?
Well, the same thing that happens. You think these safeties would, in perfect circumstances, you don't think they're running around guys? They have the same type of things they're dealing with when safeties are not typically trying to hit guys in the head. It is
what are they trying to do then, Nick?
We talked about George Iloka wasn't trying to hit.
No, he wasn't trying to, but that's what safeties normally do, though. They're trying to separate you from the ball. So for you thinking that that's not their reputation, no, that is their reputation. If they didn't change the rules, more guys would get hurt.
Of course, I understand that. But you added all these things that can lead to a quarterback throwing a bad ball or throwing a ball not exactly perfect.
Yeah, they're not robots.
Of course, but neither are the defensive players.
Of course.
And so then we're in agreement on that.
Well, then what if an offensive lineman misses their block or something? Should we blame them for then someone gets to the quarterback and then he throws an errant pass?
If you hold an offensive lineman holds a guy, the guy falls down, he ends up getting fined for hitting a quarterback low.
Taking it to an illogical.
Listen, why is it an illogical place? Why is it only the defensive?
Because you can't prove. I don't think you can prove intent. You can't prove exactly what the quarterbacks think. There are too many variables within each play.
I said in the beginning, intent.
You're getting ready to make football far more complicated than the game that I'm used to.
Hold on.
And the game that I love.
No, I'm not. This is not. When the NFL is reviewing the plays that they are after the game deciding who gets fined, right, CC? Why is it only the guy hitting the player that is part of the culpability of it?
Well, why don't we just fine the offensive coordinator for calling a bad damn play too?
Well, so you guys, I understand you're trying.
Why don't we do that? Well, what if the wind blows? What if a gust of wind? The wind blew the ball.
Too many variables to be able to take it that far.
You can't do that.
But we don't incorporate any of the variables with the defensive player. You don't think there's variables that have to go into with the safety trying to separate him from the football?
This is the thing, Nick. It's the toughest position to play with the new rules. You have to accept that. If not, Nick, we got some other opportunities for you. You don't have to play in the NFL. Oh. Hey, Mike Mitchell, you don't have to play. Watch us play football next Sunday, since you think you're so important to the game. All right? If you don't want to play by the rules, you don't have to play. And there's 100 people that would be lined up to take your job. Since your job is so complicated, all the other players have adjusted. Adjust to the new rules.
I agree with you to adjust to the new rules. But when we talked about Nate Peterman, right, a few weeks ago, you talked about the play that he got complimented for by his coach. That was a ball that got another player hurt.
Right.
The point that I'm simply making is we have a standard that only applies to a specific subset of players, which is intent doesn't matter. It's just the results. And I bet Mike Mitchell or other defensive players would feel better about it if intent didn't matter. It was just the results across the board as far as fines, not flags, but post-game fines.
So when Darryl Stingley got paralyzed playing football, they should fine the quarterback? No. They should fine the quarterback.
If we are going to that, I'm going to be honest with you, on that specific play, I don't know how the ball was thrown.
The ball was thrown, let him inside.
Let him inside?
Yes.
If we're in a spot where we're fining Mike Mitchell $50,000 for a play that would have been a clean hit.
You can't hit a guy in his head.
Right.
You see the guy moving, okay? You either play the ball or play the player, Nick. All right? That's his job. That's his job as a defender. Either play the ball or play the player. And when you're playing the player, Nick, you just can't hit him in his head. You can hit him, Eifert's 6'6". You can have the rest of that. You can hit it wherever you want to. That's his job. It's part of his job description. Adjust to the game. That's your responsibility.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.